Let's talk to Brian Saby, Deputy Police Editor at The Sun, find out what he makes of it all. Brian, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Very well indeed, very well indeed. I mean, Keir Starmer this morning getting a hell of a shellacking, not least on the front page of The Sun, where Rachel Reeves is also getting it in the neck because it was fuelish, so you say. So say sorry, but she won't say sorry, will she?
No, that apology wasn't forthcoming yesterday, and I don't expect it to happen in the coming days. Now, tomorrow, Wednesday, she has the spending review, where she will set out the spending plans for the next few years. And I don't expect it to happen then. But yesterday was a bad day for the government, a total capitulation. Just look at what they set out last July. They were going to take off that winter fuel payments for all but the most needy. And yesterday, almost a complete reversal. 3/4 of pensions now getting it, 9 million. And costing them a vast sum of money in the process. So it wasn't a great day for the government. We were expecting it. Keir Starmer said just the other week more pensioners would be getting that winter fuel payment. And yesterday we got the detail.
Well, this is the trouble, isn't it? Because at the end, he's had to try and sort of save face by lying about the economy. I mean, we've got news this morning that the irregular earnings have decreased to 5.2% in 3 months to April. Rate of UK unemployment has increased and more people are out of work, 4.6%. Julian Jessop's put a piece out today saying that 109,000 less workers on PAYE in May because of the national insurance increase. And yet Starmer's come out and said, oh, well, of course, the reason we were able to make this U-turn was because we've improved the economy. Well, everybody knows that's just not true.
Yeah, no, they're trying to make the point that the economy has turned the corner. There is a few sort of promising economic figures, but for this year and next year, a lot of forecasts. We look at I think the World Bank, and they were looking at their figures saying that there's actually going to be a downgrade for this year. So it's going to get really, really tricky because as Rachel Reeves said yesterday, the sums at the moment just don't add up. She's going to have to go back to the drawing board to work out how to find this money. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it's not actually that much money, which begs the question, why did they do it in the first place? But £1.5 billion, she has created this mini black hole. She was the one talking about black holes last year when that big 22 billion amount that they came up with. But yeah, they've taken a lot of pain on this policy for very little gain.
Yeah, exactly right. Because as you say, tiny amount of money, because in the end they also had to kind of, ameliorate some of the cuts that they were making to pensioners by giving about £500 million to local authorities to help them with their winter fuel payments anyway. So it was only likely ever to be about £1 billion. And when you look at that in the scheme of things, when you've got, the NATO chief saying you need to be spending, upwards of 150 billion a year on defence, I mean, it's literally nothing.
Yeah, I think what happened is they got into government last July. They thought, right, we need to look tough and we need to act tough. And one of those things was, why are we paying the winter fuel allowance to millionaires? Well, instead of actually just trying to work out a system where the millionaires would actually not get paid the winter fuel allowance, they actually pretty much took it off everyone apart from those claiming pension credit. And the ironic thing is, they were talking up the system of pension credit, raising awareness of it. It's then created a lot of more people rightfully to claim pension credit, which cuts into all their savings yet again. So I was speaking to Steve Webb, the former pensions minister, last night. And he said the total savings from all of this could just be a couple of £100 million. It begs the question, why did they do this in the first place?
Yeah, it really does. And it makes you wonder what's going on at the heart of Downing Street, really, doesn't it, as well? Other thing I wanted to mention to you, page 10 today, you got a piece by Sophie Winkleman, actress and campaigner, about mobile phones and smartphones for kids and why she actually wants the Nanny State to step in and ban them. Very interesting piece. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I'm going to put my cards on the table here, Mike. I have two children, aged 13 and 11. This piece is absolute music to my ears. Now, I'm not big on when it comes to the nanny state, but on something like this, I feel like the parents obviously have to have, a role, a responsibility in policing what their children do. But there is a hell of a lot of peer pressure on those kids when it seems to be that as soon as these school children get to the age of 11, they get some kind of smartphone, some kind of phone.
Yeah.
Now, Sophie Wilkerman in this piece says, why can't they be just like one of these brick phones? They have very, very simple, call functions, maybe, if they need directions, that kind of thing. But all those smartphones and all those apps that they just occupy their minds, perhaps we just need to strip that down. And she was talking in response to Peter Carl at the weekend, who said there should be maybe a 2-hour limit per app, or there should be a 10 p.m. curfew. Now, Peter Carl is starting to having a look at this, but it's got real traction because I know it's popular with parents.
Yeah, it is popular with parents, but the problem for Keir Starmer, of course, is he spent a great deal of time yesterday singing the praises of AI, talking about what it can do for parents, what it can do for public services, what it can do for teachers, what it can do, for the military, for the NHS. He seems to think AI is the answer to everything. But Sophie writes in this piece today, actually, some of the AI stuff, which is being used as educational, is quite addictive and probably possibly dangerous.
Yeah, that's right. And that's one of the things I think she talks about, this 2-hour sort of, limit per app to actually sort of limit the amount of time that our kids are actually spending on their phones. I mean, the trouble is, I see it, and I see it in the younger groups when I'm out with my children. They are on them all the time, and you can try and stop them as much as possible, but they're all on Snapchat, they're all on WhatsApp, they're all messaging, they're all sending pictures to each other. And something just has to stop, because this is just getting far too addictive.
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree. Ryan, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed. Ryan Sobey, Deputy Political Editor, of course, at The Sun.